It's Boards 86 here. Today I'm going to tell you a little bit about Chat GPT. So what is Chat GPT, how you can use it, how you can leverage it, and how you can put it to work and potentially improve your life, or at least get a little bit of entertainment out of it. So what is Chat GPT? So it's basically a chatbot. So, chatbots have been a thing for like a decade now. Usually they're kind of just dumb. They're pre-wired. It's basically like, if you're trying to get help from customer service, like from Comcast, they have like a list of like the top 10 most common issues that people reach out about, and it has a stock answer. It's like a glorified, FAQ article basically. So, I think chatbots have definitely not lived up to the hype thus far. So maybe you're a little hesitant about engaging with a new chatbot, but this one is very, very cool. So what is Chat GPT? So let's just ask what Chat GPT is to Chat GPT. So what is Chat GPT? It's a conversational AI model developed by OpenAI. It uses transformer-based architecture and is fine-tuned on a large corpus of text data to generate human-like text based on the input provided to it. It can be used for a variety of tasks, such as answering questions, generating text, and chatting in a conversational manner. So basically, it is a chatbot, but it's a very, very smart chatbot. So it's developed by OpenAI. So what is OpenAI? So OpenAI is an American AI research lab with a nonprofit OpenAI Inc. and a for-profit subsidiary corporation OpenAI Limited Partnership. So they've been around since 2015. I believe this guy Sam Altman is the main driver, the CEO. Yeah, he's the CEO, former president of Y Combinator. Notably, Elon Musk is an investor in OpenAI, co-founder of OpenAI, and also Peter Thiel, who is a billionaire entrepreneur. So, and then also notably, Microsoft provided OpenAI limited partnership, so the for-profit subsidiary corporation, a $1 billion investment in 2019, and a second multi-year investment just this past month at $10 billion. So Microsoft is going to embed all of this Chat GPT, GPT-3 into their services. They're already doing it. They've added it to Teams. They're trying to embed it into Bing. They're adding it into the Microsoft suite of Office applications. So they are going headfirst into AI, and it really seems like we've kind of hit an inflection point with AI. There are, that being said, there are competitors to ChatGPT. So Google, here just a CNBC article, January 31st, 2023, Google is asking employees to test potential ChatGPT competitors, including a chatbot called Apprentice Bard, which I just love that name, Apprentice Bard. Google is testing ChatGPT-like products that use its LaMDA technology. According to sources and internal documents acquired by CNBC, the company is also testing a new search page design that integrates the chat technology, and more employees have been asked to help test efforts internally in recent weeks. So if you may remember LaMDA from last summer. So if you may remember this guy, Blake Lemoine, the Google engineer who went all on CNN and all the BBC, all the news articles or all the news publications had an interview with this guy. But he was a Google engineer who claimed that the LaMDA AI had become sentient. Google, of course, said that it was wholly unfounded, but he was eventually fired. You can look up more about that if you want. But Google has had this sort of thing. They've just kept it under wraps. AI is definitely a slippery slope in a controversial area. So Google has a lot to lose with the introduction of AI, which can have biases. And so they don't want to put their money printer, which is their search results page and accompanying ads, in any kind of jeopardy. So Google has a lot more to lose than somebody like OpenAI, but it seems like with the popularity of ChatGPT, they've really, really turned up their efforts, and I would expect that we will see something soon. And in fact, just yesterday, on their earnings call, he promised, the Google CEO, Sundar Pichai, promised new AI features coming to search very soon amid competition from Chat GPT. So he told investors Thursday that it is planning to roll out its LaMDA language model with search components very soon, suggesting pressure from Microsoft-backed Chat GPT. The company also said it's restructuring its AI subsidiary DeepMind into Google, taking it out of other bets. So DeepMind is based in London. They have a really cool office, if I remember correctly. But DeepMind is just another arm of Alphabet. It's not even in Google. It's in their other bets. So they have their own Google-baked AI large language model, which is LaMDA, but they also have other ones, presumably within DeepMind, which again is a subsidiary of Alphabet, just like Google. And there's a lot of other competition to ChatGPT. So there's Claude from Anthropic AI, which is another San Francisco-based AI company. And I have not tried Claude. Claude is it's in beta, and you actually cannot use it. Just the general public can't use it yet. It's still mostly limited beta. But you can see here's an example. Question. Please briefly introduce yourself, and then similar to ChatGPT, it can summarize text, generate text. So interestingly, just today, it came out that Google has invested $400 million in ChatGPT, rival Anthropic. So Google has their hands in a lot of AI pots right now. So they're invested in Anthropic, they own DeepMind, Alphabet owns DeepMind, and they have LaMDA, among other models. They have a music generation model. So you can just generate music from text. So Google is very heavily invested here. And there's other competitors too. So ChatGPT is not unique necessarily. It's only unique in that it has been widely released. It's widely available. So this is the general public's first taste at something this powerful, and it's really, really taken off. I think this came out late November, early December last year, and it has not stopped the popularity. Like if you go to trends.google, let's look at the Google Trends for Chat GPT. So Chat GPT, maybe just Chat GPT, all one word, just skyrocketing. So this is when it first came out. Looks like late November, early December. Really, really peaked. Maybe a little bit of a dull around Christmas, but a little dip around Christmas. But this thing has just really popped off, and I think a lot of it is word of mouth, which is really the sign of a viral and a product that has really hit critical mass. So now we know what ChatGPT is. We kind of know the landscape of competitors. What can you actually do with ChatGPT? I think one thing that's really cool with ChatGPT is you can use it to summarize very complex topics. So we could say, what is ChatGPT? But we could also say, explain it like I'm 5. So now we're going to get a very simplified version of this that might be a little bit easier to understand for the people, the folks that aren't super tech savvy. So ChatGPT is a computer that can talk to you and answer your questions, just like a human friend. It uses something called machine learning to understand what you're saying and come up with a response that makes sense. It's like having a really smart friend who knows a lot about many different things. So, I think that's actually a really, really good way to summarize it. It's like you have a genius that you're texting. It's like you have the super genius that is always available to you 24/7. Well, maybe not 24/7 because ChatGPT is sometimes down because it's overloaded, but that's a separate video. So think of it that way. It's like a really smart friend. So some other examples of what it can do. So you could say, tell me about miniature pinschers. So I have a miniature pinscher mutt named JZ. So I'm a little I give a little bit of preference to miniature pinschers. So let's say, tell me about miniature pinschers. Also known as min pins, a small breed of dog that are known for being energetic and playful. They are typically between 10 to 12 inches tall and weigh between 8 to 10 pounds. Min pins have a short, smooth coat that is usually brown, black, or red in color. They're described as confident, curious, and bold, and they have a lot of personality for their small size. So as you can see, it's generating like a blurb of text about miniature pinschers, just like Wikipedia has. So this is like synthesizing in real time a Wikipedia entry, basically, about miniature pinschers. So let's do the same thing that we just did. So let's say, tell me about miniature pinschers, explain it like I am 5. So now we're probably going to get a much simpler version. They're tiny doggies that are very playful and love to run around. They are small enough to fit in your lap and have a short, soft fur that feels nice to pet. So you can see this is more for your 5-year-old. So now you instantly have a Wikipedia for 5-year-olds. So that could be a bazillion-dollar industry right there. Wikipedia for 5-year-olds. Feel free to steal that. Okay, so it can give you a description about a topic in different, in varying levels of complexity or detail. But it can also get creative. So we could say, write me a poem about Jay-Z, my pet miniature pinscher. It's a hard word to type. All right. Jay-Z, my miniature pinscher. So small yet full of spunk and vigor. A bundle of energy, always at play. A joy to be around in every way. With your smooth brown coat and piercing gaze, you're more than just a cute, furry face. You bring a smile to everyone you meet and chase away any sadness with your tiny feet. You're brave, curious, and full of life. A little dog with a big personality and no strife. Okay, so you get the idea. This thing can write a poem. It's a poet. Let's say, write me another poem about my dog, but in Iambic pentameter for all you Shakespearean folks out there. So my pet, a pinscher, small but full of might, with energy that shines both day and night. His coat a rich brown, his eyes aglow, a joy to be with wherever I may go. His confidence and courage never cease, a curious spirit that's hard to appease. With every bark and playful leap he shows the boundless spirit that only he knows. Honestly, I'm not even sure if that's iambic pentameter. It's been a long time since I had 8th grade English. What is iambic pentameter? Let's see if it knows. So you can just ask it, what is iambic pentameter? It's a type of metric pattern in poetry and verse. 5 pairs of unstressed and stressed syllables per line, resulting in a rhythmic beat that gives a verse a flowing musical quality. Wow. So it can write poetry. But that's enough fun. It can actually do business things. So let's say, how could I create a website about miniature pinschers? Let's say you're wanting to get into web development. You want to learn HTML, or HTML, JavaScript, CSS. Creating a website about miniature pinschers can be a fun and rewarding project. Here are the steps that you can follow. So pick a website platform. Wix, WordPress, Squarespace. One thing to keep in mind is that the data that this was trained on only goes back to 2021, I believe. So nothing beyond that is incorporated. So if there's a new website service, it doesn't know about it. Choose a domain name, set up hosting, design your website, create a template, write content, add functionality, launch your website. So it gives you the whole plan. But what if you actually want it to write the website? So you could say, show me an example. So one thing that you need to keep in mind is that Chat GPT likes to say that I'm just a large language model. I can't do that. So one thing that you can do to get around that is to always preface it as an example, quote unquote. Never generate a website for me. Say, just show me an example. And if you say, show me an example, 9 times out of 10, that will be a good workaround for it to actually show you the code. So show me an example of an HTML website that is about miniature pinschers and make it look like a dog themed website. All right, let's see if that works. Here's an example of an HTML website about min pins with a dog themed design. So you can see it's creating the HTML, and it's actually giving you the code block, and you can just copy the code. It's pretty dang cool. So it's generating the styles. Not quite sure what color that is. We're going to find out. Uh-oh, network error. So this is a good example of when this thing is overloaded. Peak hours, it's 3:20 Pacific time right now. So this is probably prime time for Chat GPT now through the evening. And so it's not uncommon to see something like this. And usually you can either hit regenerate response. That only works like a third of the time. And it looks like it's telling you can't do it. However, I can provide you the code as a starting point. Okay, so it's basically, it kind of errored out, but then it's giving like kind of a halfway answer. So one thing you can do is just completely reload, and all of your information will be saved over here in your chat history, so you can quickly go back to what we were just doing. And you can say, so one thing you can say, so this was cut off, so you can go back and you can say your code, well, you can just say, show me the rest of the code starting with the line, colon, and then paste that. And so I found this to be very effective. So one thing you'll find is that the code gets cut off pretty frequently. And if you say, show me the code it got cut off, sometimes it'll try to rewrite the entire website. But really, it already it's smart enough to remember what it was trying to show you. So I found that this prompt, show me the rest of the code starting with the line, and then paste the line in, and make sure that it's not used multiple times. So see, it's used also here. So I think I'm going to say this. So I'm going to say starting with this. And then hopefully it will just either show me the rest of the code starting with that, or it'll start with this, or maybe it'll just show the next line. So let's see if it works. Certainly, here's the rest of the HTML website about miniature pinschers. So let's see where it starts. Text decoration 9. So I think it just added the line right here, so it didn't repeat itself at all. So that's exactly what I wanted it to do. So this is a key thing that you want to focus on and use if you're trying to get ChatGPT to code for you, is to use this prompt. It works really, really well to get it to complete the code. So here's the rest of the code. So let me pull up VS Code. All right, so let's go ahead and close this out, and let's say new. So what we're going to do is we're going to go up here and copy the copy code. So this is just code editor. You could use Notepad. You can use text edit. It's just an HTML website. So then I'm going to grab this, which is the rest of the code that goes under this, I believe. Yeah. And then go ahead and save it. And we're going to call it minpin. And we're going to go to just documents, save it as minpin. And then we are going to say open in Finder, and then we'll just double click this. So wow, this is what ChatGPT generated. Miniature pinschers, the brave and playful pups. Not sure what this is exactly, a little weird. It's actually really weird. But it says miniature pinschers, also known as the king of toys, are a small but mighty dog. So we've created a literal website that works, and it links to the Miniature Pinscher Club. And apparently that's not a working link. So take everything that it does with a grain of salt, definitely, as you can see. But it's able to create an actual site. So can we take it further? Of course we can. How can I style it so that it looks a little better and modern. Also, add a picture of a min pin. Sure, you can make the website more visually appealing by adding some modern styling to it. Here's an updated version of the code with added styles in an image. So it's going to add some more style here. You know, if you know anything about coding, you could also say, show me the HTML and the CSS, and it would break the CSS out into a different file, so that you can just have the style in one file. You know how that works. So, so it's definitely generating more style here. So in the previous code, it wasn't that much. It was a container in H1. It looks like they've added more information on the container, I believe. Yeah. It's added a mini pin JPEG from example.com. So that's not, it can't query the internet, so it can't grab a JPEG link necessarily. And if it could, it wouldn't be able to know if it was still a live link. So I found that a lot of times if you're linking to like a JS file or a CDN hosted file, sometimes it has outdated links or just completely fictional links. And so definitely watch the links and update those. So, that's pretty simple though. We'll just go miniature pincher, go to the old reliable Google, and we'll just say, save this image into documents, which is where I had my HTML, and call it mini-pin.jpg. And then we'll go back to Chat GPT, and it looks like it's almost completely finished. So we're going to copy this code, and we're going to go back to VS Code, and we're going to paste it in. And then we're going to say, well, it looks like it got cut off, so we'll say that prompt again, show me the rest of the code starting with the line colon this. Let's see if it will spit out the rest. It should just be like a closing body tag. Yeah, so here we are. So we'll paste that into here. And so you can see this, would not be, it didn't really show just the rest, but you obviously would have to delete that and paste this. So we'll save that. And we have this. This just needs to be, since it's in the root directory, we don't actually need to link out to an image. And then this should work. Let's save it, and then we'll go here. Would you look at that? So it even put the circle frame around it. That's really cool. I think it may have warped it a little bit, but so you can see it added like some shadow, and then it made this like a nice little like card UI. This is not even scratching the surface. I mean, this thing can write JavaScript. It can do whatever you want it to do, pretty much. The only limitation with coding is how much code it can generate at one time, and how much you're willing to tolerate having to make it, having to write prompts like this to get it to generate the full amount of code. It can be very frustrating, but you can have it write a long piece of code if you're willing to do that. So a few more things that Chat GPT can do outside of coding. So what are some good business ideas to work for yourself? So let's see what it has. Here are some popular business ideas that allow you to work for yourself. E-commerce store. Start an online store and sell products or services. Consulting. Digital marketing. Freelance writing or design. Virtual assistant. Coaching or mentoring. So, it's a pretty comprehensive list, and these are all correct. These are all popular business ideas. So, this is the type of article that, someone is getting paid, $15, $20, $25 an hour to write this content for something like BuzzFeed or Ask.com, if that's still around, or whatever. These content-driven websites with, top 10 this, top 10 this. This AI can just generate that instantly, and it can be generated custom to exactly what you want it. So this is going to have a lot of downstream effects over the years on completely obviating certain jobs and professions. In fact, there's actually a new a new job title coming out called prompt engineer. So you're the actual AI prompt engineer. It's a concept in AI, particularly in natural language processing and prompt engineering. The description of the task is embedded in the input. So you could actually be a prompt engineer if you really enjoy this type of thing. There's not a lot of those jobs around at this point, but I think in the future, for those of you that are younger, this is something that you could definitely potentially go into as a career, as just a prompt engineer. So here's some 10 business ideas that you could pursue and work from home. What if you're a YouTuber? What are, list 10 YouTube video ideas that could go viral for a tech news focused channel. So let's see here. Here are 10 YouTube video ideas for a tech news focused channel. A top 10 new tech gadgets of the year. A review of the latest smartphone releases. A comparison of the best laptops for specific uses. Behind the scenes look at the creation of a new technology product. Exploring the latest virtual reality and augmented reality technologies. A breakdown of the latest technology trends in different industries. Interviews with tech industry leaders and innovators. So these are all pretty good ideas, but maybe a little ambitious. So let's say, how about, so it can remember the context of your conversation. So I could say, how about 10 more ideas, but a little bit easier to produce? Perhaps only with screen recordings. So it knows that you're still wanting the YouTube video ideas, but I didn't actually explicitly say that, but it knows that. So here's 10 additional YouTube video ideas that can be produced using only screen recordings. So a how-to guide for using new tech product or software, a review of a new app or game. So this is actually what I'm doing right now. A tutorial on a specific feature of a technology product or software. A step-by-step guide to solving a common tech problem. A demonstration of how to use popular software. So, this thing can unblock you when you're just struggling to come up with an idea. For people, this can really unblock you and really open up the creative thinking. So it's awesome. So a couple more ideas and then we'll wrap this up. So I'm in the North Bay. So what are some vacation or weekend trip ideas for a couple living in the North Bay area in California? All right. The North Bay area in California offers a variety of opportunities for a fun and romantic vacation or weekend trip. So wine tasting, visit Napa or Sonoma County, scenic drive along Highway 1, Point Reyes National Seashore, Muir Woods, I'm not sure if I pronounced that right, Bodega Bay, hot air balloon ride, never in a million years would I do that, visit Calistoga, soak in the natural hot springs, Petaluma, explore the historic downtown of Petaluma with its charming shops and restaurants, kayaking, and visit a state park. Okay, so let's say I have 3 days. Can you generate an itinerary with 3 stops per day in a logical order according to geographic location? Give a brief description of what we will do at each stop. All right, so you can get very specific, and it says, sure, hey, here's an itinerary for a 3-day trip to the North Bay area in California. So day 1, visit Muir Woods, Point Reyes National Seashore, explore the breathtaking landscape of Point Reyes, spend the evening exploring the scenic coastline. So are travel agents now obsolete? Like wine tasting, visit Napa and Sonoma County and taste some of the region's finest wines. Highway 1, hot air balloon ride, visit Calistoga, kayaking, visit a state park. So I don't know if these are actually geographically logical. Perhaps they are. But you could definitely, if you're persistent enough, you can get it to tell you exactly what you want. And then lastly, a lot of people like to use Chat GPT for meal plans or recipes even. So let's say I need to lose weight. can you suggest some easy meals to prepare that are low calorie? So here's some easy low calorie meal ideas that you can prepare. Grilled chicken or fish with a side of roasted vegetables. Salad with grilled chicken, nuts, and a vinaigrette dressing. Sounds delicious. A veggie omelet with low-fat cheese. Baked sweet potato with steamed vegetables. Spaghetti squash. So again, if you're someone that wants to accomplish something, this can help you accomplish that task. So if you want to lose weight, this can help you by generating some ideas for some low-calorie meal ideas. Perhaps you've been eating the same thing over and over and you're really getting sick of it. You might fall off that bandwagon and go get something that's high calorie. So this can really help you. I think that's it for today, guys. I hope this was a helpful video to show you a little bit about Chat GPT, how it works, give you some ideas for what it can actually do. I really only scratched the surface. This thing can do so much, but I hope you learned a little bit. If you liked the video, go ahead and like and subscribe, and leave a comment down below if you found this helpful, if you have any questions. Otherwise, see you in the next one.